Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we'll be starting this special lecture series for mains 2021 and also for 2022. And the first topic that I will be dealing with is about infrastructure because I'm expecting a question in GS3 on this topic. For this article, the inspiration has been the Gati Shakti, a major leap in governance from Hindustan Times, but we'll be looking beyond this article and try to cover the importance of infrastructure for Indian economy. So the ambit of this article and the scope of this video includes these questions. First one is you have to know what exactly is the meaning of infrastructure from economy terms. For writing this answer in GS3 paper, what is the impact of infrastructure on Indian economy? What is the present status? What is the need for the national infrastructure pipeline? And finally, we will arrive at this editorial, which is talking about the Gati Shakti master plan. So we will be comparing the Gati Shakti master plan and trying to align that with the national infrastructure pipeline and cover the issue in holistic manner. That will be the objective of this video. Let us begin. Now, as far as the approach towards mains exam is concerned, it is always better to have minimum definitions ready at our disposal so that we can spend our time in just answering the questions in the examination hall without even thinking. One of the major reasons why a lot of aspirants are not able to complete the paper within the stipulated time is because they're not clear about what is to be written. Now, when this question appears, what is infrastructure? It appears very simple. But if you don't have a ready-made definition, you spend around 40 to 50 seconds framing the answer in your mind, which will have a carry forward impact on the other questions. And ultimately, at the end of the paper, you will end up losing uh, 2 to 3 questions minimum because of this reason. One could have answered it in a much better manner if they know how to address that question beforehand. So let us come back to this question. What is infrastructure? It is always better to have a ready-made definition. That is the key takeaway. So what is infrastructure? It is the economic and social support system which is needed for economic growth and hence economic development in an economy. A simple definition. There can be a lot of other definitions for what infrastructure means, but as far as GS3 is concerned, this would have been my definition, which will also simplify your life. The second point that should be a part of your structure, if asked in the exam, is if the question is what are the types of infrastructure, broadly you can classify them as economic and social infrastructure. Now, what kind of pointers would come under this respective heads, economic and social infrastructure? There can be again a lot of interpretations, but it is always important to look at the government documents for this purpose. Now, if you have to take a look at the infrastructure, you have to look at the Ministry of Finance documents. So this is the nodal agency for all the infrastructural development aspects. But if you are a fresher or a working professional or a senior who is running short of time, how exactly would you know that you have to look at Ministry of Finance and pick information from that place? So this is the biggest challenge, and this is where I've been trying to cut down your time through newspaper highlights and placing different information and through videos like this. So you can go to the Department of Economic Affairs and have a look at the harmonized list of infrastructure. Recently, I've posted a lot of articles on the infrastructure status for convention centers. You can search for that as well for the background of this particular information. So this completes the background for the reason why I have oriented this lecture in a particular way and the answer for what infrastructure is and what are the different types of infrastructure. So this ends the part 1 of this video. Moving on. The second part of the question is what is the impact of infrastructure on Indian economy? Now, when you're talking about Indian economy at the preliminary level, we know that the GDP formula, which stands for C plus I plus G plus net exports, that is X minus M, where C stands for consumption, I stands for investment, and G stands for government expenditure. So this X minus M, as you know, is for net exports. At the preliminary level, UPSC already tested you about the variation in economy or economic growth with each of these changing factors if infrastructure is a part of investment, how will it create a multiplier effect, etc., has already been tested. So what is expected in uh, mains level is your understanding about its economic and social impact on various development indicators, as well as how it will enrich our exchequer. As such, this understanding cannot be ignored, but the challenge is through your words, you have to ensure that the message is conveyed that it will negatively impact the Indian economy if there is lack of robust infrastructure. This is a very obvious point. Now, how will you actually show it? This is where the next challenge comes, that is substantiation. Now, just because you claim something, it will not be true. You have to come up with certain data or pointers to ensure that your answer is logically relevant. Now, how will you substantiate this? For this, you can use RBI statistics, you can use whatever data is given in economic survey, you can use international studies like that of World Bank or IMF. There is no single answer as to what is the right substantiation. The easiest source for all these facts is economic survey, so you have to look for economic survey facts first. If you are not able to recollect that fact, or if you have any other fact, you came across any other fact like that of RBI or World Bank, even that is fine, but preferably you can avoid some nondescript random reports which are made by consulting groups, something like that. So these are not really considered to be authentic information from government standpoint. So it is always important to remember this point. Now, how will you substantiate that lack of robust infrastructure has been the reason for our growth, low growth? That is, it has remained a growth constraint. This is what you have to convey to the examiner in a single line. This is the challenge. Here is where the importance of keywords and substantiation facts will appear. If you have to convey this idea in a single line, you can say that consumption and investment, they have remained subdued for the past few quarters as per economic survey. So, Keynesian theory says that in order for aggregate demand to increase, at least one of the components of GDP needs to expand. This is the basic concept. Now, how will you actually increase the consumption or investment or government expenditure? Now, if you go by consumption led growth, it leads to what is known as middle income trap. All these topics will be discussed in the basic classes. So, what is important is you use these keywords, Keynesian theory, middle income trap, subdued demand, as a part of your answer for better marks. You can choose other words also, but these key words convey the idea in the shortest amount of time and shortest amount of effort possible. Now you have to substantiate this. What is the key fact that you will use? Probably you can use IMF statistics or RBI statistics. Just go through them and have a look at how it is impacting the Indian economy. So this is one fact. You just have to fill this bracket with the latest statistics when you are writing your exam. And then you follow it up by saying that infrastructure has the potential to be a growth multiplier and ensure that our businesses are seamlessly working and productivity is therefore enhanced to reach our ambition of the 5 trillion USD economy. So the entire picture, if I have to just sum it up, what is the impact on Indian economy? You can say that lack of robust infrastructure has been the reason for our slow growth, and this is substantiated by subdued demand as per economic survey. And if we are just going by the consumption led growth, it will lead to middle income trap, and this is also reiterated by a particular statistic of either IMF or RBI or World Bank or whatsoever. You can just fill it up this piece of information with the latest statistics, and then say that therefore infrastructure has the potential to be a growth multiplier and ensure that it is helping businesses to seamlessly work and enhance their productivity so that we reach our 5 trillion USD economy or 5 trillion economy. So the point behind this entire explanation is whatever points that we are trying to convey to the examiner should be in such a way that the entire demand of the question is summed up in those lines. What is the usual mistake done by aspirants? They either miss one or other aspect of these components under a subheading of the question. That is why they tend to lose out marks. They either miss out the substantiation part, they either miss out the conclusion, or they either miss out on these keywords and try to overwrite because of their own language. So these are the common mistakes. What is the present status? Now, in order to address this question correctly, you have to be aware of the official data or official information where you can directly quote from the ministry or newspapers or whatsoever source. Again, the fact that you know what you're looking for will make your job easy if you have a preconceived structure in your mind. Now, what is the present status? It means that what is the requirement or what is the amount of money we need. So, according to Ministry of Finance report, the required amount is 50 trillion rupees or nearly 800 billion US dollars. So if you have to quote this information, you have to have the right kind of resources, or you have to directly go to the ministry website and do your research. A lot of materials might give you information from random reports, but they may not be relevant for answers in mains examination. That is also one reason why a lot of aspirants lose out on marks. So you know the present status. The present status means that you need money. So the requirement for this money and the need for increasing a stimulus in our economies for economic growth has culminated into the creation of a task force for national infrastructure pipeline for the years 2019 to 2025. Actually, the task force was constituted in 2019, and this was actually highlighted in the Independence Day speech of 2019 by our Prime Minister. And on January 1st, 2020, our Finance Minister has announced this National Infrastructure Pipeline for each of the years from financial year 2019-20 till 2025. Now, what is the objective of this? Again, you have to quantify it in certain concrete numbers for better marks. Now, again, if you know the definition of infrastructure to begin with, you would know that obviously NIP would be investing in economic as well as social infrastructure. Now, this economic infrastructure will have a lot of other aspects, like, say, for example, railway, roadways, airways, energy sector, etc., etc. This is where you have to structure your answer in each of this particular heads. This is the key for scoring marks. Structuring your answer under relevant heads. Now, what comes under social infrastructure? You have to list them as well. Now, you have the framework, and you have identified the sectors where investment is to be made. Now, the second challenge is to gather resources. So, this is where you have the topic GS3 syllabus. You have the GS3 syllabus, right? Within that, you have resource mobilization. How do you finance these projects? This is the question. So the investment models and other topics which come in GS3 paper come under these aspect as well. It is a sub part of this resource mobilization. Not just the monetary aspect, but also the skill aspect is the new addition for resource mobilization, human capital. So as far as the financial capital is concerned, we have the national asset monetization scheme. So that is a topic for discussion in some other video, but we'll just mention it here so that you have a flow. So you have gathered information from various sources for the requirements. You drew a plan as to how to actually mobilize the finances required for getting this job done. Now, what is the next thing? The implementation aspect. This is where the Gati Shakti master plan comes into the picture. This is where the editorial that we are discussing comes into the picture. So this brings us back to the point as to how to utilize newspaper A lot of aspirants have been asking me about this question, how to utilize this newspaper. In order to effectively utilize this information, or if you have to understand the background of a particular news item, this is the level of information that you should know. So I always repeat time and again as to how you should be clear with your basics. The reason is, as you can see in this video, if you don't understand this background, that article will be like Greek and Latin. You have to understand the flow and pick the right information, which only comes with practice and certain guided help. Mind you, you cannot expect some ready-made information which is cooked and delivered to you, so that you can just by heart it and vomit it in the examination hall. The question might be about a national infrastructure pipeline, and then if you are just reading about the Gati Shakti master plan, you will write Gati Shakti master plan's answer there. If you don't know the flow end to end, and if you're not flexible enough, if your knowledge is not flexible enough to uh, oscillate between the demand of the question in either this aspect or this aspect, you will not be able to address this question. So this is the reason why a lot of aspirants fail to get marks in their examination. Now, what is this Gati Shakti master plan is the focus of this article. Now, headlines are very important because there can be a lot of confusion when you are just reading it from current affair materials. If you don't understand the flow, look at this: leap in governance. So this is about governance. So whenever you're trying to visualize, you have to look at Gati Shakti from the perspective of governance. The difference between national infrastructure pipeline and Gati Shakti master plan is this aspect of governance. The national infrastructure pipeline is just identifying the sectors where investment can be made for economic growth and development. But the actual implementation plan, through convergence of various ministries, through governance structures, is created by this Gati Shakti master plan. So, what does Gati Shakti mean? It means that we are trying to focus on the ease of doing business, that is, speed of clearance, so that businesses find it very conducive for attaining permissions from the government. And integrated planning and coordinated execution is carried out by bringing 16 ministries onto a single platform or a web portal through which all the business activities can be carried forward. So you understood the meaning, you understood what is the importance of this. And again, when you're trying to read the article about the importance of such a master plan, we have already discussed all those points in our previous basic classes itself. Like, you've already understood the importance of infrastructure. So if there is any point which is objectively trying to give certain facts, like say, in this article, the article says that currently logistics and supply chain costs account for 12 to 13% of our GDP, compared to global average of just 8%. So this statistics, or this point, is the only point which should go into your notes. And why this point? Because we don't have that particular point in our notes. The rest of the information, as you can see in this particular article, I've not posted this article on the group yet because I wanted to explain first and then use this article as an explainer as to how you can make your notes, because I've been receiving a lot of requests upon this matter. So the rest of the information, like it is using latest technologies like GIS system or ERP system, all those trivial details would not really matter much in the longer term, but you can add them to your notes to show how governance can be made better using information technology or science and technology in general. These points can be used in science and tech answers, because if you have to be successful in handling any sort of bouncer question in your exam, you will have to show the ability of extrapolating in GS2 science and tech answers or science and tech dimension. And at the same time, in the science and tech dimension, you also have to show in your answer uh, the topics of GS2. So this is the challenge that a lot of aspirants face. And if you effectively handle this challenge, you will score exceedingly well. The reasons why a lot of toppers score so effectively is not because they read a lot of information, but because they are able to switch between these dimensions or oscillate between these dimensions depending upon the situation and the demand of the question, which requires immense practice. So I hope I was helpful in letting you know how to make notes from a particular topic, or about how you have to effectively utilize newspapers for prelims, mains, as well as interview. You have to structure your information, but for that, it requires a lot of patience and practice. You cannot outsource this to someone else. The only way some external help can help you is when they show you a particular direction as to what is important from a particular topic. So that is exactly what I had been trying to do on the channel, the Telegram channel, t.me/Hindu highlights. You can search for this channel if you are watching this video for the first time. This is a Telegram channel. You can just search for Hindu highlights, and I've been posting important editorials and interlinking it with different aspects for the past couple of years. I hope this will be useful to you. That's it for now. Thank you.